Episode 5. Jake, another week of wrestling.
Yep.
What's going on, buddy?
Oh, not much. I am a little tired, honestly.
Yeah, seems to be a trend.
Just a little tired.
Seems to be a trend. Um, Quite the interesting morning for me. I had to get my license uh, renewed. It had been suspended for the past 2 years.
Suspended?
Suspended for the past 2 years.
I don't. What does that even mean?
So I got a speeding ticket back in like 2022, right? I forgot to pay the speeding ticket. So I forgot to pay the speeding ticket. They suspend your license for like not paying the government their money, which is fine, whatever. There's got to be some kind of penalty to incur. I get pulled over. They tell me, hey, you got a suspended license. And I'm like, I had no idea. So the guy's like, well, call the clerk's office, figure it out. So I call them. They're like, yeah, you have an unpaid speeding ticket. Pay the speeding ticket, and then your license will get renewed. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I go down to the clerk's office, give them my money. This is all in 2022. I give them my money, and I specifically ask the person. I go, hey, uh, once I pay this, my license will be reinstated, correct? Yeah, no problem. Won't be a big deal. Perfect. I never thought about it again. Just never even thought about it again. Until Wednesday night, I get pulled over because I have a headlight out, which I had no idea. But at the same time, like, I get it. And the guy's like, "Hey, your license is suspended." And I was like, "What are you talking about? I haven't been pulled over. I haven't had any issues with the law, nothing in 2 years." And he's like, "It's just telling me that you have a suspended driver's license." And I was like, "Honestly, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. I know I got suspended 2 years ago. I went and I paid the fees. I've got nothing outstanding on my record, whatever. Like, I don't have any clue."
Hmm.
Go to the DOT last week, and they're like, "Yeah, your license is suspended for the past 2 years." And I'm like, "What the heck?" So I had to do the written driving test and then the in-person driving test this previous week to get my license renewed for a ticket I got in 2022.
Fun.
So go government,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
That.
Uh,
Yeah.
Welcome to it, man. Welcome to it.
Yeah.
But it did make me feel a little better because I was talking to the lady, and she's like, "You're not the only person that this has happened to." She's like, "Something has happened in the past 3 to 4 years where instead of just saying, I would double check with the Department of Transportation, the Blackhawk County Clerk's office is just like, yeah, you're good. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine." So
Hmm.
then guess what we do? We don't fucking worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do unnecessary work for something that an official is telling me I'm fine on.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Be better.
Yeah. Not a fan of all the. I don't even know what would you call that. Is it bureaucracy? I don't know. Just not a fan.
The government.
Okay. Well, sure.
The government.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
trying to take our guns.
I don't think they're doing that.
So, but yeah, man. I'm back on the road. I'm legal, and I'm ready to
You
talk
you
wrestling
were on the road anyway.
the whole time.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, just the whole time. The the ignorant criminal. The ignorant criminal.
Yeah.
But all right, dude. Let's freaking get into it. Let's let's talk college wrestling.
Yeah. It
So
is definitely in full swing.
yes, yes, it is. The first 2 weeks have been a little crazy. I was looking at Flow Wrestling's like, to Flow's credit, they have a couple like cliff note pages, right, where they have like all the upsets that happened this weekend, and here are the um, all the results from the weekend. So I actually really like those two uh, running running call them blogs or whatever that they
Yeah.
do.
The
I really
upset and the roundup
yes yes
are
yes.
good.
But I read in that upset report there were 50 upsets total this weekend.
Really.
Uh, and then when I was looking at it, there were 6 unranked wrestlers who beat top 10 guys this weekend. So I guess you could say November's a little bit of a freaking mess to start
Yeah.
on the individual ranking side. Um, yeah, a handful of top 10 guys freaking took an L to unranked wrestlers, which you can only see in November. You only see that in November
Yeah.
because generally by the time January rolls around, most top 10 guys are only doing dual schedules and they're once January rolls around, I mean, dude, there's only 70 some teams. They rank the top 33. Most guys are wrestling ranked kids or kids that are they just don't have that opportunity, right? So you're not wrestling redshirt freshmen. You're not wrestling um, older guys who are just redshirting or whatever.
Yeah.
It just kind of like really settles out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my upset of the week is for wrestling, individual match wise, is the Knox kid from Stanford over Ayala. That
Yeah,
dude
Tyler
scraps.
Knox, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That dude
yeah. He
scraps.
he wrestles hard, man. He wrestles hard.
Yeah, he does.
Also, Stanford's got a salty young team. A salty young team. Like Knox is pretty young. Um, Aiden Valencia, we know that kid's a demon. He's been super good for a long time. He's a
Yep.
freshman. Gregor Chikolin, he's been a freaking dog demon for a long time. He's a freshman at 57. Um, their 74 pounder, I believe, is a freshman.
I don't know. I have no
He
idea.
beat he beat Nelson Brands and he beat Aiden Riggins on their little tour this weekend. Um, he's a freshman. I'm like 90% certain he's a freshman. But they've got some they've got some superstar potential with their young guys, and then obviously their older guys. I say older, but they're more experienced guys. Stemmet didn't have probably the weekend he was hoping for, but he wrestled two pretty good guys. But Stemmet's a top. I think he's ranked 17th on Flow, and then Hunter Garvin's obviously a top 10 guy as well. So Stanford's got a squad.
Yeah.
They've got a freaking squad, man.
Yeah, they do.
And they took out Iowa State in the duel before they wrestled Iowa. Um,
Yep.
I don't think that's Iowa State's January team at all. Frost didn't wrestle at 33.
No.
Um, I have no idea what's going on with Chittum
Yeah.
because they wrestled true freshmen. Um, so I have no idea what's going on with Chittum. And then I don't think that's their heavyweight either because I'm pretty sure the Cuban is back. Is he not?
He should be. Yeah, dude, I don't know. It's this is just a lot to keep up with how much wrestling was going on.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. I'm not. I just don't think that was Iowa State's January lineup.
No, I definitely don't think it was either.
But
I mean, since there is no real national dual championship, I mean, why would you focus on anything other than the individual tournament at the end of the year?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. We have we
So
have two we have two national dual tournaments happening this year. There's
two.
the collegiate, yeah, there's the collegiate duels, which is hosted by Journeyman, and then at the Dome, NWCA National Duels brought D1 back, so there will be like 12
In Cedar
teams.
Falls?
Yeah,
Oh, interesting.
yeah,
So you said there's 12 D1 teams wrestling there?
yep. There might be 16, but there's at least 12.
Huh.
But that's still NWCA. That's not NCA.
No.
Neither one is NCA. Like they can't call it the collegiate duels can't call it like national duels. They call it the collegiate national duels or whatever. And the NWCA one can't call it NCAA duels either. It's NWCA. So
Yeah. Hmm.
it's uh it's kind of actually interesting that you can have an off-label NCAA tournament during season. That seems a little weird, does it not?
An off-label NCAA tournament.
So
Well,
it's a
are opens not that?
those are under the NCAA banner.
Is Are we sure this isn't under the NCAA banner?
It's called the NWCA though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I
the
guess I
NWCA is
don't know
separate
and
organ.
or
Care?
yeah.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like it's interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If somebody has an answer, let us know because that does not make sense at all.
No, it doesn't. But I think that kind of brings us to the point of like what do November losses even mean? Where how do you value them?
Um, I don't know. The one I think it was November. The one that comes to my mind is Vito last year or last season. He lost early in the season. I don't know if it was November, and then just train rolls his freaking way through the tournament.
Yeah, well he lost to that kid, I think, three times or twice last year.
Yeah, he did. Crookham.
Yeah, Crickham.
Yeah. So I don't. I mean, I, it must not mean a lot.
Yeah, I guess I don't. I guess the way I kind of look at it, right? So like a November loss, it's telling about the potential of the guy who caused the upset.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm unranked. I'm wrestling the number five guy, and I beat him. Okay, that says something about my potential, but it doesn't really tell me anything about the number five guy in terms of like it's November, dog.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's November.
you can kind of tell which losses are due to lung issues as well,
Oh, for sure.
and you're just like, oh, well, maybe later in the season when they can wrestle a full match, it's not the same.
But I think the other thing too though is okay. So the early tournament represents nothing in terms of like how your NCAA tournament or your conference tournament will go, right? So you go out to like the Michigan State Open and you've got a 32 man bracket and it's done in one day. You're gonna wrestle five matches in one day.
Yeah.
And you'll get there at 5 a.m. and you'll leave there at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Right? When when does that happen for anything we actually care about?
I mean, never.
Never. Never. I mean your conference tournament isn't run like that. There are no 32 man brackets at any of them. They're all 16, they're roughly 16-man brackets or lower. It's spread out over 2 days. You have a set finals time on day 2, usually around between 4 and 7 p.m. Like the NCAA tournament spread out over 3 days. You might wrestle 3 matches one day. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, there are some things at play that aren't skill related at all in November.
Yeah.
Maybe I did a bad job bringing my weight down. Maybe I, you know, didn't cut off being a college kid early enough. Um, maybe I moved up a weight class and I'm still growing into it. Maybe I dropped a weight class like the entire Nebraska team and am still dealing with some of those things. So I don't know. I think early upsets say a lot about the person who um, caused the upset and mean very, very little to the person who got upset.
Yeah. Uh, it is way fun for fans because
I agree.
you see you you see things that you don't expect on paper.
Yeah, for sure.
So
For sure. Like, I think if you're a Stanford wrestling fan right now, you're really excited.
yeah.
You're super, super excited. And um, like I said, like, I don't think it means much, but I'm sure there are Iowa fans out there who are like, Drake made the wrong decision. He should just go back down. Even though, like, if you look at him, you're like, that's a big 33 pounder. Holy cow.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's just a.
Yeah. Yeah. He looks way better at 33 in my opinion.
I agree.
Physically
I
and I mean he seems to have added skills, from what I can tell over the the break over the summer.
Yeah, yeah. It hurts my soul a little bit to see him never mat return. Let's just do one. Let's just do one.
Yeah, you would think.
But
I mean, that's kind of like a. I mean, that would seem to fit the Iowa mentality.
yeah,
A mat
yeah,
return.
yeah. But he's got some lethal offense. So
Yeah. What is this outdoor duels on aircraft carrier? What is this?
oh yeah, so um, like the Citadel and a couple other programs. I can't remember the programs off the top of my head, but they did an outdoor duel that featured men's folk style and some women's freestyle wrestling. And for the um, at a 100% at a 100% success rate, it happens every single time. They did an evening duel in a humid climate, and the mats got wet, and
Hmm.
it turned into a slip and slide, and they had to actually cancel a couple of the duels. So like, you know, what are we doing? Super cool. The
Yeah.
the duels that took place without any issue. Definitely cool. Like very cool venue. It was on an aircraft carrier. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, like, how many times do we have to actually watch this unfold before people are like, okay, this just isn't a good idea. You just can't beat Mother Nature at these things.
Yeah. Well, you got to do it in the middle of the day, right? Like where there's not a
Yeah,
where it dries up instantly or just doesn't happen.
yeah, yeah.
Because
So,
I mean, uh, where was the one with where Burroughs wrestled
oh,
Chamizo?
oh yeah, that was Beat the Streets, New York City.
Yeah, and that was just outside at night.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah, there's this weird phenomenon that happens where it's called dew point, right? Where once you get to the dew point, moisture starts sticking to things. And there's moisture in the air in most of America constantly. It's just when the temperature starts to change, then that moisture gets pulled out of the air and then it sticks to your car or it sticks to the grass. That's why, even though it didn't rain last night, the grass was wet this morning. This thing has been happening since the inception of Earth. And it might not matter in football. They've got cleats on, they're on grass. Not a big deal. But I guarantee it would matter in basketball. They wouldn't even let them try. They'd be like, no, slippery floor, blown ACL, no good for basketball.
Yeah. I
But
wonder. I thought you were gonna go with there's a thing where no duels happen outside. Guys like let's do one outside, and then no more duels happen outside, and then about 3 years later let's do a duel outside, and then no more duels happen outside.
I mean, you're probably not wrong. Like, you're probably
Yeah.
not wrong. Oh, outdoor duels don't work. The mats get wet, and then people like get upset because
Yeah.
like I think Flo posted a video of like two of the girls that slipped and fell. The
Yep.
one girl like went to shoot and like literally like slipped underneath and just got pinned, and she
Yeah.
got
And
up
just
laughing.
laughed.
Like,
Yeah. Because like, what are you supposed to do about that?
yeah, I mean, to her credit, right? Like, I guess it's like yeah, like whatever. We
Yeah.
we all saw what happened here. This is kind
Yeah.
of silly, but
Yeah. Well, on the flip
I
side, when we did the outdoor duel on the baseball field for P&L,
yeah
you just get fried.
yeah
You get
yeah
fried.
middle of late June. Was it late June? Middle of
it
June.
was it was when the sun's the hottest.
Yeah, middle June. White mass. So
Yeah.
you were just like holding hands under. I needed some freaking eye black
Yeah.
and like double sunglasses because it was coming up under the sunglasses. That was wild.
That was crazy. And then everybody walked home just tomatoed out, just red as crap.
Yeah, but I think so. I guess like here's my question, kind of like involving this. Do we still feel like the fix? I'm air quoting that the fix to increase eyes on the sport of wrestling is simply just the venue, because it seems to be like grow wrestling, grow wrestling, grow wrestling. We need more eyes. We need more eyes. And then it's like, okay, well, what are we going to focus on? The venue. The venue sucks. We need to change the venue. The venue will make more people care.
Um, I think the spike you would get in a cool venue is just not as high as people think it's gonna be. So like your diehards are always gonna go to wherever it's at, and then if you put it in a cool place, then like how many more people are? I mean, I don't think that many more people are gonna show up. I really don't.
Yeah, you still at the end of the day, look, man, nobody was like walking past and they're like, "Oh, an aircraft carrier. I would love to watch a wrestling duel on an aircraft carrier." Unless they are already like interested in the sport of wrestling,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Both things need to exist. You have to have a very clear vision. I have to have a very clear picture of what the highest level of wrestling looks like for a superstar, right? Like I need to know what Jordan Burroughs looks like. But then I have to like after I've created this image of what a hero looks like, now my job has to be to get kids involved early for a long time. So like the next two phases have to be like how do we increase wrestling with third graders and below? How do we integrate like just increasing our numbers third grade below? And then after that it's going to be like how do I keep a third grader involved through the quitting years, right? So now you're talking about higher interest at the lower level, better retention through the middle, so more people have an opportunity to actually achieve who Jordan Burroughs is. But right now, they're still hyper only focused on like cool events instead of like in my mind like just the individuals.
yeah. The okay. Oh, I don't think the event people have anything to do with third graders.
No, no, but
But wrestling,
they
you're
def-
talking about wrestling as a whole.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but like to me it's like you can't talk about growing the sport and ignore where the sport starts, right?
Yeah.
Because it's proven, nobody can really pick this up way late in life and then have a super, super good like career. It just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? The barrier to entry for most kids, for most humans, after seventh grade is the steepest. It is the steepest. Like you have to go your whole life doing sports that involve clothes to a sport that involves no clothes against kids who are elite assassins. So
Yeah.
your first introduction to the sport way later in life ends up looking like I've never done this before. I'm going to put on a singlet and I'm going to go get my ass beat in front of my family and friends.
Uh, you just described how I started wrestling
Absolutely.
because I started in seventh grade. And my prior to that, my thing was like, I'm not wearing that, whatever that is. I'm not wearing that. I'm not wearing that thing. And
For
then
sure.
literally my first tournament, it was a beginners tournament, and so it was for first and second year wrestlers only. And I wrestled a kid that like wrestled at our school, who was really good, and he just headlocked me 3 times in a row and pinned me.
I
So,
think he was at the beginners tournament.
yeah, he definitely shouldn't have been, but that is what it is.
Absolutely. But I just think that I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying that like it's much easier to make a third grader do it than to even get a seventh grader to want to try.
Yeah,
the gap, the gap by the time they hit seventh grade in some areas is just insurmountable
Yeah.
for that time. For that time.
Yeah. Well, and then even on like the adult end, you don't just start wrestling when you're 28.
Nope.
You can start playing pickup basketball games.
Yep.
You can do touch football in the yard. You can do a softball
Oh,
league, baseball league.
jujitsu,
You can do jujitsu.
right? Like,
But
why is jujitsu killing? Well, jujitsu's killing because it took the it. We talked about this the other night. Uh, there's very, 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 very little instinctual about the sport of wrestling, other than like grab, right? But like, if I grabbed a random person's legs, they're gonna try to chest wrap me. They're not gonna sprawl. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
they're
they're
gonna
gonna
grab you
hug.
back.
Yeah, they're gonna hug me, right?
Yeah,
And then like, if I take somebody down, they're probably not going to their belly. They're gonna grab me and squeeze me, and they're gonna
yeah,
try to stay on their back and like hold me in place.
yeah. Well,
You know what I mean?
turning your back in a fight is not the correct move normally.
No, no,
So,
not at all. You're still gonna get punched and choked now,
yeah,
right? So
and in the
like,
back of the head,
ow,
punched in the back of the head.
yeah. So you're just fighting instincts the entire time, and I think that's why jujitsu's got like such a massive late in life advantage, is because the sport is based on submission holds that all take place on the ground from me on my back, you on top, or switched.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's definitely it can be almost it's very low to no impact if you want it to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Um,
but yeah, I don't know, man. I think I like the niche one-off dual settings if they're done well by the university
yeah.
or the people involved, but it's an indoor sport.
Yeah. You just either got to do it at the right time of day outside or go back inside.
For sure. For sure. But it's an indoor sport based on weight classes. Let's you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we're freaking buddy, we don't care. The athletes really don't care.
No.
Like the Wyoming duel was cool out
The
at the ranch.
the duel at the daddy. That's what they called it.
Yeah, yeah, Big
Yeah.
Daddy.
Yeah. It's a what was it? A barn?
Yeah,
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 that is cool. That's cool. It's also inside.
yes.
So,
And like I said, I didn't hate the duel that worked. Um, but you just have to know that's coming. Like you have to know that it's going to happen. You have to.
yeah.
Like anybody who was surprised by that just has not paid attention to the sport of wrestling at all in the past 100 years.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm moving on. I don't
Yeah.
want I don't want the Citadel coming after me.
Wow. I mean,
They
yeah.
are
Just fly over your house.
yeah, they are a military school for the government. They'll come
Uh
get me.
yeah, this
So,
weekend NWCA All-Star Classic.
yeah. Yes.
There's a couple matches I'm looking forward to, and a lot of them I'm just like, all right,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I think
uh,
we only got one number 1 versus number 2 match, right? For the boys.
yep,
I'm pretty sure Parker and
still right,
Carter are it's the only one, so I'm
yeah,
sure they'll go last.
probably yeah, unless they go weight order, but why? Why?
Well,
Don't
they
do
might
that.
go weight order, but they'll start at 97.
I like that.
So,
Yeah,
it's just like
that,
a normal duel.
yeah, that would
Um,
actually be the move. They should do that.
yeah. I am pumped that the Campbell heavyweight got on the card. I
Yep.
like that. I would like to see Campbell have ooh, ooh. Let's circle back to that. Let's put a pin on that.
Okay.
Let's put a pin in Campbell
Okay.
because um yeah, yeah. But um there are some interesting matchups, and then there are some matchups that it's like, yeah, you guys did this just to have 10 weight classes represented.
Yeah. Well,
And do we care if there's 10 weight classes represented?
um, I don't. You could do 20. You could do. No, I don't care about how many weight classes they do, but you could do 20 matches if they're good matches.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right?
You could do three 141 matches or whatever. I don't. Who cares?
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. It doesn't count on their record. It's an exhibition duel. So, like, I guess my thing is like, dude, if it's an exhibition duel, does it have to be college guys only?
Interesting.
What if the exhibition
Well,
duel? What if the exhibition duel was like, um, Alirez versus Bo Bassett?
so you're talking about like doing more of like a who's number one thing, open.
I'm talking more about getting matchups like that carry real interest if guys agree to it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Who? To the dude who just transferred, who hadn't been wrestling for like 2 years, the deadlift guy.
AJ, AJ,
Yeah. Him and who was he back and forth with?
damn it, he beat him in the duel right away. First duel of the year.
No, I feel like
Well,
it was a Penn
Starachi.
State guy, right? Yeah, it was
It
Tarachi.
was, it was Starachi. Yeah,
Yeah.
Starachi said he wouldn't go up to 97.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's just the cool thing about obviously Parker and Carter is that it is a 1-2 matchup, and they're both like, in my opinion, the number one and number two um, Hodge Trophy candidates.
Hmm.
Um, they won't see each other during the year,
Yeah.
and I think that's probably like all of those things add into it being something that people want to see,
Yes. Yeah.
so it's super interesting in that standpoint. But like, Jor Volk versus Tanner Jordan, we could see 3 times before the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
They're in the same conference. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
do we really need to see this one over and over and over again? I don't know.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm
Um.
I am super excited to watch Shane Van Ness wrestle again. I really like that. I really like the way he wrestles. I,
I Yeah, I do too. I'm also a big fan of Ty Waters. I like the way he wrestles.
Ty Rubber Knee Waters.
Yeah, Ty Rubber Knee Waters and Crab Half on top.
True, true, true.
Um, do you think that Evan Frost didn't wrestle this weekend because this was coming up?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
that makes sense. Mendez and Bartlett's going to be awesome. I think if they try to score points, it'll be awesome.
We watched them wrestle twice last year. The only one of them tried to score points the whole time.
If they try to score points, it'll be awesome.
But we know Bartlett's not going to try to score points.
New year, new me.
Shit, New Year, new me. Stop it. Stop it.
Um,
I,
yeah.
I think they'll be I think they'll be good matches. I just one of them one of them definitely stands out way above the rest.
Yeah.
And honestly, it is like it's better for marketing purposes when like you get to see a Penn State versus Oklahoma State matchup right now. Like, that would have been sick. Like, just get any Oklahoma State kid in there to wrestle a Penn State kid. Like, you've got a good story there. You know, whatever that may be. But we just the stories coming out of it just feel a little kind of meh.
Yeah.
But There's also one, two, three, four, five matches on the ladies' side. Um, and shout out to the girls. The one versus two, one versus two, one versus one, one versus one. Like these girls are stepping up. They're
Yeah.
like putting on,
Yeah.
so good for them.
Yeah.
Super, super good for them.
Amani Jones just came off a world bronze, right?
Yes,
And then the McBrides are good.
yes, they are. They are. They are. So it'll be. I think overall it'll be a good night of wrestling. I think it'll be a good night of wrestling. I'm excited for it. Um, I'll watch the whole thing. If the price of admission was to watch all the matches, to watch Parker and Carter, I would do it twice.
Yes.
Like it'll be good wrestling. It's just I don't know.
Well, I get the yeah. I guess the question you're asking is why is it not every single number one, number two?
Yeah,
In
yeah,
general, or
yeah.
just the best matchups you could figure out
Well, and I think this is the best matchups they could find. It's
that were
just
accepted. Yeah.
yes, yes. I don't know the rules, but I would like to NWC All Star Duel. Okay, so it's not necessarily your best wrestlers might not be all stars. You know what I mean? Like an all star might be somebody else, like a superstar, right? Like uh, there are some there are some people in the music industry that I am just not aware of at all who are like super incredibly famous, but their music doesn't even come close to being as good as like Metallica or
Oh. Okay.
the
Yeah.
Beatles or you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like
The Beatles.
I mean historically, right?
Yeah.
But um let's not forget we're an entertainment sport. So
Which is what brings fans.
absolutely. Absolutely. So I don't know if the if the NWCA All-Star Duel could could be open to kids who aren't necessarily in college. I would love I would love to see PJ Duke wrestle either of those 57 pounders. Either of them.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Tyler Kasag versus Peyton Keller, sign me up. You want to give me Jax Forrest versus Jordan Volk, sign me up. Let's go. I'm about it.
Yeah. That would be good.
Yeah. So I guess that's just kind of what I'm saying. Like, does it have to be? Does it have to be two guys at the same weight, or can it be anybody? Because I think if we're open to opening it up to anybody, we could have some more fun.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. So, all right, that's Saturday.
I actually don't. I don't know. It is November 16th, which is Saturday,
November 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern, out in Penn State.
6 p.m. our time.
Oh, oh, you know what?
What do I know?
Maybe we'll get more fan shenanigans. It is at Rec Hall.
Oh, like, okay. Yep.
Like what if we are witnessing Penn State turn heel and we get like Jesse Mendez over Bo Bartlett and Jesse Mendez is just like double burden everybody. Goes full like any kid who wins in Carver Hawkeye Arena, and then the PSU faithful are just like, "You're a bum, you're a bum," and
Yeah.
then Mendez is like, "What have you done?"
No. Oh no.
Maybe something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, that's fair.
But anyway, moving on. Let's talk youth wrestling, buddy.
Okay.
Okay, where'd we go? Actually, um, two things can be true here. So the tournament we went to is named after a club kid who had passed away
Yep.
in a ATV accident a couple years ago. His name was Logan Luft. Um, his sister Lily wrestles for Iowa. Um, he's actually the him passing is the reason Lily actually got into wrestling. So kind of a cool story there for her to try to continue on a legacy that um, her brother really had for himself, and then as a way to stay close to him, she picked up the sport and became just so good at it, so good at it. But we are back in small town gym wrestling tournament season.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we are. And that is definitely one of those
It is.
where you tape four mats off into six square mats and you scrap in a rectangle.
You do scrap in a rectangle. Um, and listen, I'm as guilty of this as anybody this weekend because Haley was out of town, so I had the girls. So I rocked up to this tournament with two kids under the age of 4, and we helped nothing.
I saw you when I got there, and then one time in the middle of it, and then you were just disappeared.
Yeah, dude, but I even mean like everything you would hate about a kids wrestling tournament, my children were definitely participating in.
Mm.
My youngest girl, I had to hold by the ankle mat side because she kept trying to run out on the mat. My oldest daughter was just the most mad because she's too young to compete and was just like furious the whole time. You won't let me wrestle. And then just like screaming at me. She wore her wrestling shoes so she could wrestle, and she was just furious the whole time. And then, thank God for wrestling moms. They took the girls from me for a little bit so I could try to do my job. But I look up in the stands and there's like 13 kids up on the top row of the bleachers with crayons and markers and iPads and juice and popcorn and like all kinds of stuff just bladdered everywhere,
Yeah.
just all over the place. And I'm like, yeah, we are in it. We
Yeah.
are in it. But
Yeah.
what what do we do, man? Do we just need to accept that you're going to wrestle 3 matches over the course of a 7:30 to 5 p.m. day? Are we just
Um.
accepting this?
Well, at that tournament, that's not exactly true. They do them in waves.
Yeah, they do. They
So
do.
they're wrestling. I
But
mean, some of our
over,
kids got called up almost immediately
yeah,
after
yeah.
their.
But if you're an older kid, your weigh-ins were at the same time as the young kids.
Um. Were they?
So weigh-ins opened at 7:30 and closed at 10:30. Wrestling
Oh.
started at 9:30.
Yeah, and those in the seventh graders didn't start till like one,
3.
3. All right.
Yeah, the 7th and 8th graders hadn't started, and I left at 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Here's what I propose. We're talking about local youth tournaments, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You don't need real officials.
No, which this tournament didn't have.
It didn't have, and we're okay with that. I'm completely okay with that. Not everybody is. Not everybody is. But I'm okay with it. We're talking about getting an opportunity to go compete. It doesn't carry any weight. It doesn't carry any value outside of like how do you compete. Also, get used to getting quote unquote screwed over, whatever, right? But why? Why not K through 4 Saturday, 5th through 8th Sunday? Everybody who's there is within an hour. They are all there within an hour of their home.
Yeah. You so split it into 2 days.
Yeah,
Um. Yeah, I think people just like the idea of it being done in one day and then being done.
sure, but
The people that
you have
set the tournament up is what I mean.
sure, but like you have one kid. Pretend you have one kid, and it's a fifth grader. You had to weigh in at, be done at 10:30, start wrestling at 12:30, get done at 3. Not that bad. But you're an eighth grader. You had to weigh in by 10:30. You don't start wrestling until 3 p.m. You had to sit in the gym all day and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and then compete 3 matches and then go home. Like, if you only have one kid, I feel like you're only committed to one day either way there. And look, the tournament itself is put on to make money. Should
Yeah.
convenience trump product?
Um.
I'll tell you what, I
Well,
went
it
to some
depends on
flag.
if you're. It depends on if you're McDonald's or like Mark Wahlberg's burger place. You know what I mean? Or who makes the best burgers. I don't know
I don't know.
because McDonald's is mega convenient and their
People love
product.
it.
Yeah, and their product is we all know it's not good for you.
Yeah,
Isn't that? Is
but
this not what you're saying? This
people like the
product.
taste of it.
Yeah,
It's just talk to like anybody leaving a youth wrestling tournament. Did you love that? No.
yeah,
I went to a couple flag football games this year, previous years or whatever. Those kids show up at 9 o'clock for a 9:15 game, and they leave at 10:15.
yeah,
What's not to love about flag football? You show up, you're there for an hour, you chase kids with flags on their hips, and then you go home with a juice box. Happy boy, happy girl. They love it.
yeah,
You go to a wrestling tournament, you weigh in, just immediate judgment. What do you weigh? Oh, right? Oh, you're skinny. Oh, you're big. What you know what I mean? Just like
yeah,
immediate judgment. And then you go eat like a McDonald's sandwich. Tasty. McDonald's breakfast sandwich. Let's get it going. Right? You come back. Your coach yells at you because you're 6 and you don't know how to do a warm up. And then you go compete, and then your parents scream at you from the sideline the entire time because they just can't. They just can't.
yeah,
Right? And then you either win and you look over at your parents and they're the happiest you've ever seen them in your life. And you feel really good about yourself. Or you lose and you look over at your parents and they look like they're going to kill you. And then you immediately feel awful about yourself. And then you do that 2 more times.
yeah,
And then you get to go home. And if you did well, you might have a good car ride home. If you did poorly, you might get talked to the entire ride home about how you got to do a better job listening and how you got to wrestle harder and how you got to keep your head up. And they're going to give you 45 things to focus on. And you're 7. And you can barely still wipe your own butt.
yeah. So what it sounds like to me is the parents are causing most of the problem.
The environment encouraged it though.
Oh no,
I was
yeah, yeah,
because I was dude, I was sitting there this weekend and I actually told one of our parents, I was like, man, I'm so jealous of some other sports sometimes because like look down there. Just look down there.
dude, it's chaos.
Not only is it chaos, but Matt's side is mom with a camera, dad holding just a closet of clothes. Um, the friends, the kids, and then a coach, and then like maybe another like they have their club coach, they have their high school coach or their club coach, and then their like youth club coach or whatever, right? And then friends of the parents are all Matt's side. They're all Matt's side.
Yeah.
Like there's just no way you could see 35 feet across the gym from the bleachers, right? And I'm like, go to a football game. Where are the parents at? They're all in the stands. Go to a basketball game. Where are the parents at? They're all in the stands. Like it's just like I personally think the fix is to try to move as much as possible to dual tournaments. You try to move as much as possible to dual tournaments so there can actually be a reason to put a barrier between the athletes and their families and allow things to be chilled. Because the biggest problem I see is that parents are super worried their kid's going to get left alone. So then they step in, and then they're always Matt's side, and then they're always just present. And then when you try to do your job and communicate something to them, the kid's panicked, looking at the parents, looking for answers. And then you can't do your job anyway, so I might as well not even be here. You might as well be here.
Yeah.
The environment is just bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
It encourages it.
yeah. Well, I experienced this last year when I was at Indianola. This is the parent mat side thing is also coach's fault because if you coach at a club or whatever and you don't go to the tournament, who else are they going to have in the corner for them?
Absolutely.
And the parents are like, I'm so glad you're coming to tournaments because before we just like would have to sit there and not really know what was going on, or like their coach wouldn't show up and like, but I'm like, yeah, that's weird. They should. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, I guess that's the other part of it, right? It's not like your kid can go play in a football game if the coach and the team's not there.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Like you're just, God, that's a really good point.
That's. I mean, that's. Uh, yeah. I don't know. That's. It's almost a non-fixable for individual tournaments.
Yeah, it is. It is. Dude. I mean, speaking of this, my buddy called me the other day. He's a youth coach out in Indiana, and he's like, "You're not gonna believe this." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "We got we have a we have our club. We're getting ready for a dual tournament, and we've got a couple like beefing families inside the club who are
Mhm.
like, I'll never duel with these guys, and then they're like, yeah, fine, whatever, we'll never do with you. Dad inside of their club put together his own duel team, and then on off practice nights started having his dual team practices that he was charging kids who are paying to go to this club to also go to.
Dude, that's just
all
not it.
all, all because like they don't like some of the families in the club.
D-
What
Ooh,
an unwinnable situation for the coaches. Like, what do you do? Well,
you're
I
both
mean,
out of here.
well, that's my first instinct is like freaking hit the high road, but at the same time, like, well, that just is probably going to divide even more inside your room.
Yeah. I don't.
But that's
That.
the kind of stuff we're dealing with.
Yeah. That's a 3-person meeting. Coach and both parents. Both
Yeah,
both families' parents. Like, what is happening? Why?
yeah, yeah. Because they had a couple kids approach them like, "Hey, why are you guys having this extra practice?" And they're like, "We're not. We're not having an extra practice. What are you talking
Oh,
about?
that's wild.
Yeah, we know nothing of this." And they're like, yeah, it says right here, you guys are having practices at this location on these nights. And all the coaches are kind of like, this is the first we've ever seen this. Like, I don't know what's going on here. And then they're like, well, I got it sent to me by so and so. And then so and so is like, oh, yeah, it's just like extra work if guys want to for like extra dual teams and things like that. And he's like, so let me get this straight. You're inside our club recruiting our club kids to come pay you to run your own practices outside of here.
Yeah, that seems illegal.
Well,
Some I don't know, maybe not, but
it's definitely morally
yeah,
gross.
yeah,
Morally gross.
yeah, yeah,
But I don't know. I don't know what the fix is, bro. I really don't know what the fix is. Someone's gonna be unhappy all the time. I liked the rolling. I like the rolling starts better than everybody going at once. I really do.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Because then everybody is actually sitting there all day,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
and I don't
the
mind.
gym is all packed the whole time, which is not ideal.
Yeah, I really like this idea though that we talked about the other night, where I think like because there's usually two within the same area. Like if you drive an hour east, you'll hit one. If you drive an hour west, you'll hit one. I'm really starting to like the idea of like, hey, K through 4 go to this one, fifth through eighth go to the other one, because then as coaches, all of us really only end up with like half a day then. Because here's the thing that's like definitely never gonna happen is like, okay, hey, me and Holschlag are gonna go for the K through 4 bracket, and then you guys will show up for the 5 through 8, right? So kind of be there around that time. There's not a world that exists where me and Holschlag leave.
Yeah, it would just
You know
feel
what I
bad.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, like then we're just gonna be there the whole time anyway. But I don't know. I don't know.
yeah,
That's ultimately what it comes down to. I don't know. So
yeah,
I guess if anyone's got the perfect answer, let me know. I'd love to hear it. I'm begging to hear it. Please tell me.
yeah.
So, but all right, I think we might as well wrap this thing up. Let's see a clip of the week, buddy.
Yeah, let me pop open the freaking share it with you. There we go.
Definitely gonna be freestyle.
Yeah, that's most of what's on the
Ooh.
site.
Yeah, I know. I know. What do we got here? Is this it's a Russian.
Yep, that's Bogomoyev. He's actually I really liked watching this guy.
Ooh, Bogomoyev. Let's go.
Yeah. Um. All right.
Who's he wrestling?
Uh.
Oh, I see it. Azerbaijan.
Yeah, Gavarzatylov.
Nailed it.
Just a really
I
nice
liked
counterattack.
I liked everything about that.
Yep.
He kept pressure into the guy to make sure he could run his angle down.
Yep.
Ended up below the ankle and got back above the knee. Just continued to move, kept the foot up. Just a just a great job by Bogomoyev.
Stop sign.
Yeah, great job. Great job. No hesitation to run his angle down.
Nope.
I like everything about that.
Yep. Dude's good.
Everything except his weird mustache, chin beard.
He telling me you don't like this face?
It honestly gives me like long haired Jake Hodges vibes.
Yeah, so it's great.
It's a thing.
All right. All right.
All right. Well, number 5 in the books.
Indeed.
We'll keep trying to get better at these.
Yep. Till next week.
Later.